Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan Qasim. Today, our guest is David. So, David, let us know from where you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. It's fun to be on. My name is David Meyer. I'm a healthcare executive, and I spent most of my career in healthcare data and across a couple different types of companies, health insurance companies, large medical groups, and health tech, and that's where I'm today, is in health tech.
Yeah, that's great. So, David, what is the most exciting thing you have found in health tech till now?
Now, I think the most exciting stuff in health tech right now is the bleeding edge of it, and your organization has put just a lot of focus on delivering an AI set of products and bringing that to market. There's nothing hotter than AI and machine learning in health tech right now. And you and I have had a previous conversation. We've talked about some of the missteps, right, in healthcare. And it's not because they were bad ideas, but the way in which the products were packaged and delivered positioned themselves to augment what people were doing. But unfortunately, too often, people were allowing those products to do the job for them, or at least that's the allegation in some of the lawsuits. And so I think when you look at everything from MIT's latest coursework around AI and healthcare to a slew of other great engineering institutions that are following suit, everyone is focused on how you can leverage AI to provide additional optionality, right? I'm a physician. I'm having a conversation with you. AI is looking through your record. It's not telling me what to do, but it is suggesting other things that could be going on with you that might be worth testing for, right? And maybe I thought about it and I've already excluded it, but maybe I didn't think about it yet. And that kind of approach to AI, whether it's adding value to a patient and their journey through, let's say, cancer, or something very impactful like an organ transplant. That journey is very difficult. Many steps, sometimes very discouraging. And AI, there's no reason that AI can't layer in and support that journey. So not taking the place of, right? But getting healthcare closer to the pin every time we hit the ball, right? Golfing metaphor, which I don't know, maybe inappropriate for healthcare tech, but yeah, I think it's all about producing better outcomes, not because health tech is replacing anybody, but because health tech is layering in and providing insights that people wouldn't have known otherwise.
Makes sense. So, I can see the beacon on your shirt. So, how is it? How Beacon is the one-stop shop for all the business needs in healthcare software?
Well, I mean, I definitely wouldn't, be arrogant enough to say we're the one-stop shop, right? I mean, we're very proud of our products, but there's a lot of great companies. So I want to start with some humility. But we have products that are very compliance focused. And again, kind of like our conversation last time around some of the missteps in machine learning and AI, it was compliance, right? Where the missteps came. And so what I love about Beacom Healthcare Systems is that this company is all about how to deliver operational solutions that are not only compliant from a design standpoint and thoughtful from an operational flow standpoint, but are sensitive to where the puck is going with compliance, right? So it's very easy to say, okay, today, what do I have to do, right? And we're just going to create software for today. Kind of thinking about where things are going and how to build something that will scale from a compliance standpoint for your customers. That's very hard, but I think it's something we do well. So very proud of our little but mighty company.
All right. So, in terms of the audience, what do you think? Like, who is the best audience for for all of your things like that you're selling?
Well, I mean, I think traditionally in managed care in the United States, you either sell into health insurance companies, which are usually referred to as payers.
Mm-hmm.
So you sell into them, or you sell into large medical groups, or
Mm-hmm.
you sell into large hospital systems, right? You have
Okay.
payers, medical groups, and hospital systems. And there's no one is better than another. They're very different, tactically very different sales strategies. The timeline for selling into a health plan often measured in years. Hospital systems often also are measured in years. Medical groups can be a little faster, just because they're often a little smaller, and they're usually a little bit more nimble, just from a structural standpoint. But those are the three main purchasers. We don't really have a lot of consumers demanding solutions that they use independent of which health insurance company or hospital system or which medical group their doctors are in. They usually stay within those verticals.
Okay.
So selling into one of those verticals is usually what people in our industry do. And our primary vertical right now is in the payer side. But as healthcare becomes more and more complex, more and more hospital systems are
Yeah.
starting health insurance companies. And so they can be our clients, and more medical groups are starting health insurance companies. So they can be our clients. So really the answer is anybody in healthcare, but traditionally it would be health insurance payers.
Yeah, makes sense. So in terms of goals, like or you can say in terms of growth in future, like what are your plans for the short term from 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's nothing hotter than how we can exploit's probably the wrong word. It sounds negative, but how we can leverage, right?
Uh-huh.
Is a nicer way to put it. All of this data that we have,
Uh-huh.
right? We have data, within continuums of care. We have data on patients. We have data on doctors. Some of this data is in time series, right? Which you can do. You can begin to imbue causality into that as you're looking at something that's changing over time.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting, and there's a lot of data to crunch. And how can you most effectively execute that work? And traditionally, healthcare and healthcare tech have been very focused on single problems, right? I'm gonna solve a problem around quality analytics, right? And that's my lane, and I stay in that lane. Or revenue, or interaction with customers, with members, and providing them with more support. And there tends to be these kind of functional silos, and they've created their own universes of data. And what's exciting about the new approach, right? And this is something your company is, obviously very focused on too. The
Yeah.
new approach is to say, how can I cut across? How can I take insights from here and insights from here and do something transformative that nobody would have ever even contemplated? And there's so much opportunity for it. And particularly now that that tech and health tech has a much more kind of compliance focus, kind of watching some of the early folks stumble, right? We've seen it, right? And we say, okay, let's not make that mistake. And I think it's been a good learning opportunity for us, an organic one. And we're now at the spot where there's just tremendous opportunity and openness to allow these various data sets to be mined. Whereas historically, people thought of them as proprietary. Like the data that I created is almost like my IP, and it's not really, right? And it's not only ungenerous, it's almost unhumane, right? To treat a data set, right, as just mine, right? And so I think as it's democratized, right, and companies with strong machine learning, strong AI solutions layer in, that's so exciting.
So in terms of challenges, like this is, I believe, when we talk about the health tech, then the major challenge is obviously compliance, which is already achieved. In your case, it is already achieved. So at this point, what do you think? Like, what are the main challenges you are facing?
Well, it's kind of like it's achieved, but the challenge is for what time period, right?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the
Makes
challenge,
sense.
right? So I might, you and I might partner on something, right? And we build
Yeah.
something that
Yeah.
is compliant today, right?
Yeah.
But again, like, where is it going, right? Are we going here? Are we going up here? And so difficult. That's difficult.
Exactly.
And do you guess and do you try to get there first, or do you allow government and the public to kind of think through this stuff, and we're going to just be nimble, right? And as they make decisions, we'll keep up with them, right? There are many different strategies, and
Yeah.
different companies are thinking about this in different ways.
Yeah.
But that, I think, is the main challenge, because you're right. Compliance is the hurdle. It's easy to be compliant today. Well, not easy, but you can do it, right?
Yeah.
It's a known set of rules.
Known set of rules. Yeah.
Tomorrow is not a known set of rules. That's the challenge. Yeah. And then obviously, the main challenge that every company has in tech, which is, let's make a product that somebody wants to buy. And so it's you have to do both, right? It can't just be cool. Somebody has to want to pay for it.
Yeah, obviously. So, like, in the same way, like, now you have the product. So, how you're selling this product? Like, this comes out of this question just popped into my mind. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you have your product now. Like, how you're selling? Are you doing some marketing work, online marketing, offline marketing, word of mouth? How
I
it
mean,
is going
it's
on?
just yes, right? So it's and as you know, because again, you're in this
Yeah,
space, everything changed with COVID, right?
yeah,
So pre-COVID,
obviously.
right? I've got my sales colleagues, you got yours. Maybe you and I both jumped on a plane every once in a while, right? Pre-COVID, that's what you did, right? It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
face to face. It's a meeting during the day. It's dinner in the evening. Trying to
exactly.
become friends, trying to have them become comfortable with how you think and how you are as a person,
Yeah,
and then seeing your product in light of that, right? That's how we all sold
yeah.
pre-COVID. And now, shoot, I mean, not only does nobody meet with you or go to dinner, I mean, some of these people don't even come into the office. They don't
Yeah.
even read their email, right? It's a real challenge from the sales side. And so we're in a cycle right now where it's kind of like the old sales lady or guy, the person that's
Mm-hmm.
got the big Rolodex.
Mm-hmm.
They're the most valuable person in sales, right? Because they don't just know people, they have their cell number,
Ah, okay.
right? So if you send the email to the corporate email, what is that? One in five that they might even look at it, much less read it. They just even notice that you sent an email, right?
Yeah.
But if you can text somebody, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you just say,
Mm-hmm.
look, we have something new. Give me 30 minutes. Let me pitch it to you, right?
Yeah.
That personal connection is so powerful right now, and I would say it accounts for a lot of sales. There's still always value for hard work, which
Mm-hmm.
the traditional salespeople, they don't like the cold calling, like they like
Yeah.
the glorious meeting and dinner sales strategy. But I mean, there's still room for hard work, but unfortunately the old strategies they're not yielding a lot of fruit, and so you sort of have to pivot. And will it change in the next couple of years? I suspect. People like being at home, but I think more and more companies are saying, we'd like you to come in, right? So I mean, you can imagine that continuing to change, right, over
Yeah.
time. And if we don't have another global pandemic that would, force everybody, to distance again, we don't have that. I would imagine, just from a productivity standpoint, more and
Mm-hmm.
more companies bringing their employees back in. And as that happens, that would probably shift sales back towards a more traditional model. But right now, it's kind of like, you and I go to conferences. The goal is, how many people can I talk to,
Yeah,
right?
obviously.
How many phone numbers can I get? How many personal
Yeah.
emails can I get? Because that's the way that you're going to be doing sales, not marketing,
True.
cold marketing strategies, cold calling. You might
True.
catch one in 1,000. It's still worth doing, but it's not where
Yeah.
the bulk of sales are coming.
Makes sense.
My
Makes sense.
opinion.
Completely makes sense. So,
Yeah.
like, there's another opinion from my side as well. Like, I believe still people do not check the email, but they do check Instagram, they do check the social network. So maybe this could be a beneficial thing, but I'm not sure.
So true. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, the world has become a narcissist, the entire world, right? And so social media is everyone's favorite way to get information, which is insane. But I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
So, and did I check my LinkedIn today? I'll fess up. I did. So yeah, social media is tough, and it's definitely a channel, right? So because you know that, right? Because you know that people are very interested in themselves now as a brand, as a mini brand, right?
Yeah.
Then, obviously for business, LinkedIn probably the number one way, but does it mean you can't use other strategies? No. And I think really savvy marketing companies are starting to think about all the various ways in which they can reach out to somebody as a potential customer. And sometimes it's not even LinkedIn, right? Sometimes it's recognizing that they're proud of something that they're doing charitably, and that goes to Instagram, right? And so reaching out through Instagram, which is like something I would have never thought of doing before. But I mean, like it's our new world, right? So you're absolutely right. Social media is huge. And being able to add value to somebody's brand, which is, again, something we would have never talked about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But like, if I know what you're passionate about and my products, right, and you're doing business with me, enhances a way that you like to run your business and think about yourself, that's very powerful.
Yeah,
Very powerful.
exactly. But I believe in case of Beacon, maybe I'm not sure. You can correct me. Maybe an awareness campaign is also required because maybe there are many people who even don't know that this can be something beneficial for us.
Give me a little bit more. I think I know where you're headed, but I just want to make sure I understand the question.
Yeah, in fact, I'm just saying in case of your products, maybe you need some awareness or educational campaign.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it should be on social media. Maybe it should be direct or whatever, but yeah, maybe there's some room of educational or awareness campaigns where people may know about your product. Like this is something that can be helpful for me. Like there's a possibility that I'm not looking for this thing. Maybe I don't think that this product will be available somewhere in the world. So
no, that's a very insightful comment. So I first of all, I agree with you, and the comment I'll make is when it comes to how you provide an interaction with the general public, right? Where do you put your effort? I personally like educating people in the space, not product specific.
Yeah.
Saying, look, this is why you need to care about this entire area. And yes, we have a product in this area, right? But before it's kind of like before somebody can become a believer and a customer, right? They have to have just this general sense that this area that you care about, that you or I, let's say we worked on a product together and we're delivering this product. We want people to understand that it matters, right? So that's the first step, right? So it's kind of like, do you do webinars about your company, or do you webinars about the technology, the space, and what the technology can do? And I kind of think you do. You go up 10,000 feet, right?
Yeah,
and you say like, please understand why this whole space matters, right? And yes, we're in this space, right? But understand the space, and it's kind of almost a little bit more altruistic, right? You're doing free education, right? You're doing what graduate school didn't do. You're stepping in and helping.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of like the first step. And then the second step is then individually, as people come to you and they say, I loved what you did. In your case, right? Really explaining AI in a way that I could wrap my head around. I never understood it that way until I listened to you, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, all right, that's transformative. Now I want to talk to you about products. I never even thought I knew it was cool, but I never even thought about how it could apply. You helped me see it. Now I want to talk to you. And it's kind of like education step one, education step two. And the product, the company is step two. General education is step one. And that's the approach I like. Not everybody, of course, does that. And sometimes you can skip over. I mean, there are some buyers that are what do you call it, like crows. They go for the shiny tinsel.
Yeah.
And so you can sell that way, right? You can say, yeah, we're the
And then
shiniest, newest thing. And
you got mute. You're muted again.
I don't know how this is happening. My children must be punking me. So yeah, I
No
was just saying
problem.
that the sales cycles are so long in healthcare,
Yeah.
right? At least 6-9 months, and for some purchasers, you're talking multiple years. And so if you're in a multiple year sales cycle, the idea of kind of stepping into it, where we're having multiple interactions, high level education, a little bit closer to the ground education, product
Hmm.
specific, deep dive, right? And this is going on for the first year while they're QAing your company around how your IT functions, because that takes 12 months, right?
Yeah.
So I think you want to keep that sale live,
Hmm.
and having things to do to step through makes sense. But yeah, again, like I was saying before, I mean, there are companies that skip that, and they
Yeah.
can be successful, but they're often very tied with an individual that's splashy, right? So it's not
Yeah.
just the company and the tech, but they've got a name connected with them that everybody is interested in, and
Yeah.
I think that makes that more possible.
Yeah, completely makes sense. So, David, what would be your biggest piece of advice for the audience who are watching this podcast?
Well, it's a funny world we're living in right now, right? We have all enjoyed 10, 15 or more years of investment, with granted a little bit of an issue back in the late 2000s, but with the dot-com bust. But I mean, we've enjoyed a long period of time where we've gotten a lot of investment as an industry, and I mean just tech generally. And healthcare has also, at the same time, as a separate industry, benefited from a lot of investment. And I would say, and again, it's something you and I got a chance to talk about, a number of weeks ago. I would say that the opportunity to just sort of peanut butter something in, we have some wild ideas, right? We're very smart. We went to good schools. You kind of like squeegee it in.
Yeah.
I think that's done, or close to done anyway.
Hmm.
You just, there's a number of reasons for it, which we don't have the time to get into, but just the money for that is tough to get, if at all. I mean, obviously, there's still plenty of individuals, high net worth individuals and institutions that need places to invest, that are looking for places to invest.
Yeah.
But I think that everybody's looking for things to be a little tighter, a little bit more qualified. And so I made the just high level piece of advice last time, and I just want to do it again this time. If somebody that's listening to this is interested in healthcare, and you've got a great technology idea, you've got an approach that you think is incremental, healthcare is its own thing. So many people, so many brilliant people have tried to get into healthcare, and it's
Yeah.
blown up, right?
Yeah.
And so you can't be arrogant, right? You have to say, okay, all right, some really fancy folks with a lot of money try to get into healthcare and it didn't work out. So let me go out of my way to take my idea and solicit as many inputs as I possibly can get. And I'm going to particularly try to find inputs where people are telling me what my challenges are going to be, so I can at least think
Yeah.
it through. And I think the euphoria, right, that you could get away with 10, 12 years ago, I just don't see it as much anymore. I think it's a hard sell. I think people are looking for thoughtful approaches that have actual experts signed on to, and those
Yeah.
experts can explain why they think it's going to work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work that you never had to do before, right? Before it was just
Yeah.
enough to be a genius, and now it's kind of like you have to be a genius, and then you have to pipe that product all the way into the market that you want to put it in. And you have to be able to show the color around it that it's going to work. And I just think that's an advisory board that is incented to give you bad news, not good news. And too many executives hire advisors, and the advisors just blow sunshine and fairy dust at them. Oh, you're so smart. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love it. Can't wait to talk to you next time, right? It's, it worked for the last 10 years because nobody was particular about actually when the rubber met the road, and could you make money on the thing. I think now we have to bring more to the table.
Yeah.
And so that's my advice. If it's AI, you might reach out to these guys. They seem to be pretty smart. Like Beacon, it certainly has a spot in healthcare and in compliance. But there's a lot of smart companies. There's a lot of smart individuals that are happy to be supportive advisors. But you need to get people that don't do advising for a living, where they're just telling everybody you're great, you're awesome, right? You need to find people that actually are operators, that appreciate problems, that can give you advice about how to mitigate those problems when it comes to delivering your product to the market. So I hope that's helpful to people.
Yeah, true. So true. So, David, thanks for joining us today. We enjoyed a lot. In fact, I enjoyed a lot and learned a lot of things. And I think our topics are very interesting and that we are discussing right now. So we might need more calls to discuss these topics. So,
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about you guys and what you guys have planned. So and healthcare applications for that. So I'd love to do it again in 6 months when you
sure,
guys are ready.
sure. Why
I
not?
think there's some fun things coming down the pike for both of our companies.
Exactly. So let the people know how they can reach you.
I'm David Paul Meyer at Outlook.com, and I'm D Meyer at Beacom Healthcare Systems.com. So either one is great, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Social media rears its ugly head right at the end of the call.
Yeah, good. David, thanks. Thanks for appearing today. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.